Welcome to Game Changers live from Miami, Florida. My name is Sergio Tigera. I'm your host. And each and every week, we bring you someone who has been a game changer in their field and who's touched the lives of thousands to get their perspective on their journey, their mindset, their struggles and successes so that we can inspire you on your journey. So let's get started right now. And welcome to Game Changers Live. You can catch us each and every week on your favorite podcast channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, you name it. Thank you so much for supporting Game Changers Live. We are now at number in the top 2% globally as a podcast. And we are coming to you live from the College of Communications, Architecture, and the Arts here in Miami, Florida at Florida International University. And we have a couple game changers with us today. We got Shannon Illingworth and Doug Heldoorn. Hey, guys.
How you doing?
Hey, Sergio.
All right. So they're from GrowPod Solutions. They provide state-of-the-art environmentally optimized growing systems for growing high-quality specialty crops, specialty leaf crops, including many variety of herbs. And this will be done with the GrowPod, utilizing the most recent technology in soilless hydroponic growing technology. So there's a huge demand for high quality foods, understanding where they're coming from, making sure that they haven't come from a bad batch, and a lot can get lost in the process, right? In shipment on the way. And so they're doing some really interesting things for restaurants to have GrowPods on site, right? And so before we get into that, guys, tell me a little bit about yourselves. Let's start off with Shannon.
Yeah, hi, thanks, Sergio. So a little bit about myself is that I've been in the technology business for the last 20 years. I started in automation with the kiosks, with vending machines, and really just wanted something different for myself. I wanted to change my life and wanted to take that technology and put it into something else that really can make a big change for all our lives and turn a business into it. And when I started it, it was changing my life, having a newborn baby, being almost 60 or 55 years old, and eating healthy, and I thought was healthy, right? So I was eating a lot of greens, a lot of green shakes, a lot of stuff, and I was getting like sicker, like not feeling well. I was just getting tired and realized, after testing the foods I ate, there was a lot of stuff in it that I didn't realize that was not healthy for you. So I really got into these indoor controlled clean food farming, almost 8 years ago, and started taking that kiosk framework technology and putting inside these 40-foot shipping containers and modularizing the whole process and making it simple and making it more easy and fundamental to really grow in. Like, I'm not a green thumb, but I can grow in our pods. I grow lettuce, I grow spinach, I grow all these cool greens that are really clean, and really changed my life through doing that through these grow pods, these modular farms. And I really attribute to that to really knowledge. I mean, having to deal with some of that cannabis space and seeing what they're going through with testing and all this other stuff. I don't know why we don't test our food. Why don't we test the food we eat? And I see, like, my daughters and my kids, and last 10 years of the suppression and all the issues that's going through. I'm like, you have to see it. One time is we're putting more pesticides on our food. Our food's growing outdoors, is susceptible to runoff, and there's drainage and pesticides and bad dirt and bad soil. Like, let's get out of that, right? If we're going to eat something, let's not put it in the ground anymore, right? Let's put it somewhere we control it. Put it in a restaurant quality environment where the water's clean. There's no need for pesticide. Like, my daughter goes in, she's 7 years old, and it's a funny story, right? She goes into the grow pod, grabs lettuce right out of the pod, right out of the channel, starts chomping on it. Will I let her do that outside? Probably not. You know what I mean? So it's exciting. I want to see a future for our children. I want to see a future for everybody. And even as a niche, if you're a health person wanting to change your life, I truly believe health is changed within, right? How do you change your life? Well, change your diet. Eat right, eat good, eat healthy. Every day I see a commercial for a vitamin and this and that. Well, if you eat right, you don't need to get all that. The vitamins are in our food. But as we get older, I see the vitamin content, and we have some testing that we're going to be delivering to the public audience. It doesn't look good. Grabbing grocery store-bought produce and against our produce, life-changing.
But let me ask you, so have you always been that acutely aware and focused on food? Like, what's your background?
So my background was in college as an athlete, and I studied physical therapy, and I was going to be a coach and a trainer. So I've always been working out and kind of doing stuff active, eating right. I like to say eat somewhat right, but I like greens. I love salad, and I just like went away from it because it tastes bitter. It tastes weird. I mean, I moved to Oklahoma. The leafy greens out here are not good, right? So it's just like yellowy. It tastes like chlorine. I mean, just like,
Oh, wow.
it's bad. Like, so I just like, you know what? There's got to be an alternative for this stuff. And right now I grow my own stuff. I don't even deal with it, but
Interesting.
we can do this. Like, it's pretty cool that we can be self-sustainable through every state in the country if they just go indoor. When those states that have this year-round weather, I mean, Oklahoma, the weather here is treacherous. I'm a California boy. The weather,
Yeah.
you'll see all 4 seasons in a week, right? So it's crazy. But that's why.
Yeah. All right. So hold that thought, because I want to catch up with that. So Doug, tell me about you. What's your story?
I was in the car business for 20 some odd years. Believe it or not, I mean, I'm not the same as when I did when I was 19. I used to teach dance when I was a kid. I hit a guardrail going 70 miles an hour in a Firebird. I ruptured my descending aorta valve and shattered my right femur and my right leg.
Wow.
Which, threw me out of the construction line and working with my body. And I basically started selling cars, and I ended up being a general manager, one of 600 for Nissan, executive manager out of the United States. So I'm qualified to run the front end and the back end of a car dealership, finances, banking, all of it from, front to back. So had an average employees of about 173. Did that for 21 years. Kind of, didn't see my kids grow up because of it. Because as an entrepreneur, you're surrendering you're giving your life up for this dream of financial success and all that kind of stuff. And fought through all that. And one day a guy brought me a product, and it was pretty intriguing to me.
Actually, hold on. Let me ask you that, because so I'm a dad. I have 2 kids, so my kids are young, 9 and 4, and so I'm trying not to make the same mistakes, right? Trying to be as present as possible, because time flies, and you can never get it back, man.
Right.
Is that something, like, you look back in your life, is that something that you regret? I mean, is it something you had to do? You had no choice, but would you do something different?
You regret it when I have twin daughters that are 21, and you think of all the stuff you missed, and would you have done it a different way? There's all things that you would change a little bit, I think, here and there. I didn't have the opportunity, didn't have a goal. We didn't have silver spoons. We all worked with our hands in construction our whole lives. So, the first goal was obtain this, we want to be wealthy. But then once you get it, you realize, it's not the goal. The goal is to be
not
happy.
Everything, right? Like
you wake up older and you're like, wow, with the foods and it's not the goal. Now you realize your health and your family is about what you have.
Yeah.
Money comes and goes. So
yeah. Wow. All right. So
saying to you, I would say, spend as much time with your kids as you possibly can, because money comes and goes.
Yeah, and there's been what's the comedian's name? Geez, I just forgot that. He said, "I wish everybody had $1 million that can see that it doesn't fix anything. It doesn't really change anything."
Right.
It's like, you have $1 million, you still have problems, right? If you don't have good relationships and good attitude and stuff like that, it could really not do much for you. Exactly, just kind of amplifies problems that you have. So you all right, so then you were in that business, and then somebody comes by, and were you looking to change?
I mean, the business that I was in, the car business, you're just surrendering. You're trading time for money. So somebody brought me a product that I thought, well, I can control my own destiny. I looked at this product, and the guy who made the product was an inventor. He wasn't a salesperson. So we took it to a platform that was in that space, and we tried it out for a weekend, and we figured out there was a market for this. It was a bottle with a built-in grinder in it that's smell-proof, airtight, watertight. And, in that segment of, let's say, the green space, it doesn't matter who you are. If you consume cannabis, no one really wants anyone to know that you consume cannabis. You don't want to get in someone's car and it smells like Cheech and Chong, no more than you want to get in someone's car that smells like George Burns. You know what I mean? So this kind of hit us like a tidal wave of this. These people are like, wow, this thing's really smell-proof and airtight. So it became a packaging, branding, and now we were kind of in the sector of the legal side of packaging. Like this has to be transparent. This has to be, this has to be solid. These stickers have to be on here. So it kind of threw us into this arena that was really unique. And we have a patent on our products, and no one can knock us off. We sue people, and we hold, we defend our patent, utility and design. We have a 40 dram product and a 20 dram product. So it's really unique in that aspect that you have something that's a consumable that you can protect. And we took that business to selling, we're doing $4 or $5 million a year in business, just selling these few little products. And then, when I was speaking with Shannon and such, I've known him for 15 years. We're all kind of in the same sector, in the same space. And I was talking to him one day, and he's talking about growing, growing these organic superfoods, which we were all kind of getting into because we all are worrying about our health now because we're all getting older. So it kind of flowed together, which was pretty cool. I mean, I have a real good story, which we'll have a friend of mine come on one day and talk about it. But he actually had lupus, and he ate himself clean organically.
Wow.
Which they can't find it anymore. But he's very thorough. He doesn't eat anything that's not organic. But the foods that Shannon grows and such, they're incredible. You'll put them in they last 3 times longer in a refrigerator situation than others. It's really a unique deal. So when we saw that, there's an opportunity we kind of merge and get our brains together, working towards a common goal of, what's missing out there in society right now. And it kind of hit all the things, one pod will grow an acre of food with 1/3 of the water that it takes, with less space, with no metals and no toxins. And everybody right now is right on that bandwagon of, wow, how can we do things healthier, responsible to the environment, responsible to the planet, save water. And so we really think we're onto something that's going to be incredible.
So what is it, a 20-foot container?
No,
40-foot container.
A 40-foot, it basically equates to an acre of land. So now you're able to control all the kind of environmental stuff. You don't need pesticides for it, which is probably obviously a huge issue. So are you selling these to restaurants or what?
So the good thing about the container, it also can go into the farming. Like the traditional farmers can have a niche, right? They can do something year round versus 3 or 4 times a year. In Oklahoma, maybe twice a year because the seasons don't allow you to grow outdoor. But cool thing about our focus, and we basically took our whole facility out of California, moved to Oklahoma because now we manufacture, we have a farm, everything is on a 5-acre ranch, and we also will have an educational piece where we'll work with local colleges to train these students on how to grow hydroponically and how to turn that 40-foot container into an acre of farmland that has the best controlled produce on the planet, right? So we can really revolutionize what's going on in our society. People don't realize that we get all our produce through 2 states, Arizona and California. The majority of our produce comes to. By the time it gets to Oklahoma or across the state line, or it's already stale or bad or whatever. But you can't leave produce. It has a shelf life. Being able to be farm to table, that's what we give these guys that ability.
So if I'm a farmer and so let's say I replace an acre of land with a number of these containers, my crop yield goes up because I could probably produce more in that acre of land than I could have, if I were planting them, as well as the quality of them as well, right? Does my cost go up? Well, I imagine the cost, obviously, the initial cost of all the pods or financing and so forth. What does the cost wash out to versus traditional farming?
This is the deal, right? This is going to happen. You can hear it on your show first, right? Organic food grown in the ground still isn't clean food. There's still a lot of issues with organic. So you use manure, all these other products. I don't know about you, but I don't want to eat manure. You know what I mean? I really don't. So to get away from that, the only way you can get away from that is grow food indoors. Leafy greens, all this stuff is growing in the ground. It's susceptible to water runoff, to bugs, to rodents, to manure products, all this runoff. It's not good. So the price comparative to the health comparative is unpriceless, right? So your body will change with food. You know, you got to get away from those toxics, those pesticides, everything else. But our goal is to, one, a vertical market is to directly to consumer, directly to grocery, directly to restaurant. So we don't only just do leafy greens, we do tomatoes, peppers, we do mushrooms, we do all leafy greens, spinach, butterhead. You know, we do these exotic kind of lettuce heads, these romaine that you can't get anywhere. It's incredible. So that's what we want to educate people. And once we start getting to them, they can't stop buying it. It's incredible. So we have to we moved from California to Oklahoma because we couldn't farm enough. We didn't have enough. And then ancillary, you know, everybody's like, oh, you can't do this. You can't manufacture and you can't farm the same part. You can't do this. Stop telling me what I can't do. Tell me what I can do. You know what I mean? So that's why we have to move and do things where it makes sense as a business. It's like, you know, you got to vertically integrate into so you can use your whole piece of property versus, oh, I got to go, I can't do that here. I got to go there. I got a piece of property.
Yeah.
I'm not in a commercial zone. I'm not in a farm zone. I'm not this zone, that zone. Like, what a mess.
Yeah. So can you grow different vegetables and different types of, you know, in the same container?
Yeah. So the cool thing people don't realize with leafy greens, right, and fruiting plants like tomatoes or strawberries. And by the way, we grow some of the best strawberries on the planet. They're just amazing. They're like blood red strawberries. I never had a indoor strawberry before until we did it. And, wow, it's like Skittles, right? So the great question is, all leafy greens can be done. Like you can do different kinds of spinach, you know, all the leafy greens into one. But fruiting plants, they require different environmentals and temperatures. You can't really grow those together as much as you like, but so we keep those separate.
Nice. So you guys have been in business now since 2014, is it?
So GP Solutions, so let's kind of clarify that. GP Solutions been in business 2016. Doug and his public company, which is Advanced Container Technologies, ACTX is the symbol. He's actually acquiring GP Solutions. We're actually working together on the acquisition. He's going to acquire us, and we've been working together and selling this proprietary technology. But cool thing about ACTX, they get the whole enchilada now. They get the manufacturing, they get the farming. That's going to be part of Doug's public company, and I'm excited about that for the future.
Cool. And so where are you guys seeing most of your sales go into? Is it on site for specific restaurants? Is it for, you know, direct sales to supermarkets? Like, what is it?
Right now, our sales are in GrowPods itself, right? Because we're working with large companies like Produce Now, which is going to commit to almost 100 pods, which is like 10 million. So, and then we're working with, we do different vertical markets. We're in the cannabis sector. We've already sold a few hundred pods in that sector, and we've been doing that for a few years. So and we're just now bringing on the really agricultural vertical market, which is the produce side, and launching Produce Now, which is going to be a mega star, right? It's going to be like, we want to do this in every state in the United States. There's no reason why every state isn't agriculture independent and can grow year round.
Wow, that's fantastic.
And so also, Sergio, with that being said, being in the infantile stages of this, when you guys were talking about how much can you grow and how much can you yield and everything else, you don't have bad harvest. You don't have bad weather that destroyed a crop. So there's a lot of factors that we haven't been able to even explore because we're not there yet. But, you know, as we get there, it's kind of like you're controlling your entire destiny. You're controlling everything from seed to sale. You know, you're in it. You can produce what you can produce, and you're not having a bad crop. The hurricane didn't come and destroy your whatever, and you're completely controlling the outcome. You know, one thing in life that I've always liked, I don't like getting involved with things. If you can't control the process, you're kind of a victim to the outcome,
right?
In some aspects, right? So as we control our process, the outcome just gets stronger and stronger based on how good can you run a business, how well can we fine tune this thing and get it to where, you know, the end result is optimal.
Yeah, what I love is it's scalable, and you know, you can just keep adding pods, right, to kind of grow your business, add pods, and like you said, you're controlling all the kind of environmental variables that tend to get in the way for typical farmers and so forth.
Right.
And what's you know, how much power does it take to run one of these, right? In terms, you're seeing a lot of companies saying, okay, what's the what's the power impact, right? Just like when in Bitcoin mining, you know, that hit, you know, hard. damage that industry. What's it like in terms of power supply?
So it's really like we've worked on really limiting that power supply by using LED lights and using mini splits and using things that really were more efficient, the ACs and the water pumps. So we started like 250 amps when we first started, right? Now we're like down to like 55 or 65 by really being conscious of how much power we use. And now we're using solar panels, we're reducing that. So that footprint, a power footprint, is reduced significantly. Like right now with the solar panels and everything else, your output of what you're using, your amperage is almost as much as a refrigerator at the end of the day. So we'll be really efficient at the end because, you know, the technology today, we see efficiencies coming. I mean, we've already taken this thing in half already, and now we didn't bring in solar or anything else to really make it efficient. The cool thing about it is my technology background, manufacturing background, Doug's packaging, branding background, this makes us vertically integrate into a great system, right? So that's what we're doing. And so it's just going to make this a well complementary business that people need to know about. Like, we're the new kids on the block, but we're going to make a big bang out there.
Nice. I love it, man. I love the scalability of it, the green side of it, how you guys are combining forces. I think there's a lot to say when you take experiences and you get people that align with a strong vision. I think there's, the potential is huge. So where can they find you? So growpodsolutions.com is the website. They can also catch up with you guys on Instagram and other locations.
Yeah, we want people like the investor community, people looking for these growing companies that want to be part of that. They can find us through Advanced Container Technologies. The public trading symbol is ACTX. GrowPod is going to be acquired by Advanced Container Technologies, so we're working through that now. But at the end of the day, please follow us. Please follow what we're doing. The GrowPod Technologies, AdvancedContainerTechnologies.com, and ProduceNow.com, all combining their resources to work together.
What are you guys doing in terms of like marketing and promotions?
I got a pretty good marketing team right now. Instagram, Facebook, Google AdWords. We're getting ready to do kind of a big promo out here in Oklahoma to all the restaurants and grocery. I'm going direct to them with some stuff, but Facebook, Insta, all that kind of stuff. And we have a nice every day we got a post about eating clean, eating fresh. We show our foods we're doing. We're showing the harvesting, show planting. So the audience isn't big yet, so we really got to get the name out there. But I have some superstar people going to get involved. I mean, we're talking to.
Awesome, guys. Well, hey, any last words, Doug?
No, just really, really excited. I mean, we're in the good space. I think we're going the right direction, and everything's just looking up. So, I mean, as much as you're looking at the economy and everything right now, I mean, you look at the things going on in Holland, in Germany and the Dutch right now, and the fertilizer and all these different things. It's like we wake up some days and go, like, was this Christmas, or did you see what they just said that you can't grow and all this stuff? It's craziness, but on the other side, there's always a plus to it.
I want to add one thing, Sergio. Like, if people are following today's food and where it's going, and now these crazy, like General Mills and all these things that have been burned, these fires and these planes crashing into these food plants and all this stuff, like crazy. Like, we want people to know you can't control your food. You can grow your own food, and you can do it easily through these scalable modular containers. We do 20 foot, we do 10 foot, we do 40 foot. So if you're at home and you want to grow your own produce, we give you that opportunity. We train you to do it, and you should be able to do it. You should be able to control your food, your food system, and the cleaning on how food is. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Well, you guys are doing some game-changing stuff in the field. Thank you so much for being on, guys. If you love this episode, everyone, make sure to share it, hit the like button, and subscribe, as well as the bell to make sure that you don't miss an episode. Each and every week, we're bringing you these game changers like these gentlemen. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Sergio. All right, thank you.
If you loved what you heard in today's episode of Game Changers, please subscribe and rate us. The lessons and the stories in these podcasts are immensely valuable, so I invite you to share them with a friend who needs to hear it. You may end up being the game changer in their lives.